welcome back to the LARPS News podcast. As always, I am Millie, and this week we're going to talk about Northern Kingdoms. But I didn't have Dave this week, so I've got someone who is incredible and wonderful and very special to me. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Meredith. Most people just call me Mary. And yeah, I am always happy to talk about Northern Kingdoms for multiple hours, and often do to people who don't choose to. So I am very happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
That's all right. We met at Northern Kingdoms, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or did we meet briefly at Empire?
We met really briefly at Empire, like super briefly, and then my first Northern Kingdoms event, you very kindly drove Paige and I to site. And it was honestly, to this day, one of the most crowded cars I've ever tried to fit into.
It was the best.
It was
I had the best time.
so good. We just didn't move. And I remember we stopped off at a little village just beforehand to get extra snacks and stuff. Because that was the one that we went past the really creepy graveyard on the way to site, and there were just statues everywhere. And we were where are we? Because that was Scarborough, wasn't it? Our first event.
It was.
Mad. That was 2023.
The hill.
Yeah, it would have been 2023 because it was
October. Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why did you have to date it, Mary?
That's horrendous.
Oh God.
Oh God.
We're not going to talk about Northern Kingdoms. We're just going to have crises about how old we are now.
It's fine. Oh my God. Okay.
But yeah, we met then, and it was your first kind of foray into small scale LARPs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I always tell people, actually, I did Northern Kingdoms as an experiment, because I started LARPing in 2022, because a couple of friends of ours, I say that you know these people, Jim and Paige, some very good LARP, friends, and they also happen to LARP. They tried Empire E1 and E2 that year, and they wanted to be able to sort of ease us all into it. And so a bunch of us went for E3, and I did E3 and E4, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good fun. And then we did, I think, the next E2, and I had a really fun time. But I watched Paige. Paige plays a character at Northern Kingdoms called Wanda, and she will be popping up in this tale of the weekend. She's been mentioned in the podcast before. She's fantastic, and she's also one of my best mates in real life, and she's just great. And she at Empire, I know she gets very involved with you guys and your plot. And she started obviously just a couple of events before us, and she was having all of this deep plot, and it was incredible, and she'd tell us all these stories, and I was a bit I'm just not getting even though I'm trying to throw myself into the game, I just found it so big, because obviously Empire's
3,500 people-ish, I think now.
Damn, that's more than
it's big.
As much as I could try and sort of manufacture plot for myself, I wasn't kind of getting what I thought I would. I loved it, but I was a bit I feel I need story to really enjoy something. It's same with D&D games. If it's just all if there's no plot, it doesn't quite grab me. And so I was basically maybe I just can't, maybe I'm great at D&D and just can't LARP, maybe, and that's okay, maybe I'm just not actually good at RP out of a D&D pick, because that could be the case, because I just wasn't quite connecting with it. And then Paige was come to Northern Kingdoms with me, it's meant to be absolutely phenomenal. And I'd listened to a few of the podcast episodes on it, and I was you know what, I like The Witcher. I'm not an expert in it, but I really like it. Stuff it, why not? Let's give it a go, because if I don't like this, odds are I'm just actually not, maybe LARP isn't for me. And then so I also get absolutely horrendous stage fright.
Oh man.
Absolutely. So the couple of weeks before Northern Kingdoms, I was what the fuck am I doing? I was literally what am I doing? I'm going from a fest LARP where it's basically me and my mates dressed up pissing about in a field for a weekend to like one of the like most like well-known like intense like bespoke like smaller LARPs that like just everyone always has amazing things to say, and like the kit level's great, and and I was literally sat there like, what am I doing? And I was like, no, come on, gonna give it a go, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fine. And obviously I only knew Paige as well, and like that was the other thing was I like over the sort of years of we RP together all the time, like as friends and like other friends that attend sort of Empire and stuff, but I found that like Paige and I like have a really good rapport like with RP, and so it's just it happens quite naturally, and so I was really glad that I was going with her. And then obviously I'd met you before, and I was like, right, okay, that's a small group, let's just go, it's fine. And we kind of, so Paige and I set our characters up to have known each other. Her character's Wanda and mine's Kaltain. And we were like, cool. They went to Arachiza together, went to Sorceress School together. That's how they know each other. It's great. It was easy. I picked the nation that no one knows anything about, Sedaris. It's barely on the wiki.
No.
Where did we end up last weekend, Millie?
Just Sedaris.
I got away with it for 2 events. What's funny is everyone who picks Sedaris, we all had the conversation is we all chose Sedaris because like there's nothing on it. And then when we went there, we were like, for God's sake. Yeah. But went to that first event, and oh my God, it was life-changing.
It's incredible,
like,
isn't it?
It sounds dramatic, but I was like, oh my God. Like it gave me such confidence. Because we had that first event, we had like a big like, do you remember the big source ritual?
Yeah.
I play a source as well, and like everyone just got so stuck in, and everyone there's just so kind. Like massive shout out to the player base at NK because they're just incredible. Like they properly got invested in our like new player. Like they could see we were new because obviously everyone knows each other and like you know who's new.
Yeah.
And they just got so involved with our characters. Everyone was so like complimentary about us. Like it was such like a boost in like confidence.
And it really helps deal with that element of like anxiety as well, doesn't it? Because you have that really supportive player base that will help be like,
so much.
You can do this. You're incredible. Like you can do incredible things.
I honestly like. And just from day dot, like I play a martial like character, and like I remember like Richie who plays Nico, who's like sort of one of like the really well known like figures of the Free Company, and I remember standing by like, the war tent in the first event, and immediately she turns around and goes like, Kaltain, come in, you'll need to know this, and like just invites me to the war table.
Wow.
And like really like gets me involved immediately, and yeah, and I was a bit hooked, and turns out I bloody love LARP.
Yeah.
I just definitely need like a smaller story driven, which is exactly what Northern Kingdoms does, and they make sure that everyone gets like their main character moment in each event, and God, like, chef's kit, honestly, impeccable.
Yeah.
Impeccable. Big love to the writers and the crew and the organisers because you're all fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I started doing Northern Kingdoms.
I'm so excited to hear about your weekend because it literally, as we touched on very briefly, it was in your home territory in Sedaris. It was like, and also like talk us through who Kaltain is at the point where, so let's imagine we've just finished not this last Northern Kingdom, so event 10. Because that was the one that was basically like starting your main character arc, wasn't it? Yeah,
which is very weird because like that was our second event, and it was sort of like kicked off for both of us. It was great. So Kaltain, she is a source. So for people who don't know The Witcher, and also massive disclaimer, I've played Witcher 3 and like I've watched some of the TV shows, TV show, there we go. And
we're not experts.
So like
I'm
not an expert
on the whole thing.
I'm going to mispronounce things. I'm probably going to get some deep lore wrong, but this is how I've been playing it, and honestly, so far it's been fine. So I'm getting away with it. So yeah, she's a source, and those are magic users who basically their magic is like, they don't cast spells, they're not like a sorceress, but their magic is like innately in them, and it's usually activated, like Ciri from The Witcher is a source.
Yeah.
And so their powers tend to be, you can call upon them, but it's like usually sort of triggered by moments of high emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to play a source who, she grew up, her family served a noble family in Sadaris, just a chill, normal family. She has an older sister, a younger brother. She had a very happy childhood. And then one day she developed this source power and like nearly killed like a childhood friend. And it was all okay. He was fine. It was fine. But
Yeah.
she got sent to. He was fine. He was fine. To my knowledge, it's
Nearly
fine. Knowing
died.
the writers, he's like
Totally
he's
fine.
like on a like revenge mission. So she got sent to Aretusa, which is like the sorceress school.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she met Wanda, who really helped her, like, because Kaltain's power is a bit so what Simon does, the organizer of Northern Kingdoms, is, you know, sit down with people and come up with like their special power.
It's a
So
really
remember our
cool
conversation,
system.
I was like, it's so cool. And so basically Kaltain's power is like she becomes a battle avatar. And it's so much fun to play because basically at times of high emotion I can, or if I see like a comrade get like hurt or something, I can call upon my power and Kaltain like leaves the building and this battle avatar like comes into play, which means I basically get like a use of dodge and I can hit, like I don't get hit like once every 10 seconds or something, and like the idea is like I move like lightning fast.
Yeah.
And that's really fun to play because I can't tell from foe, so like I'm just really aggy.
Yeah.
And mean, but like not like mean, just like very like
You're like
military.
pretty curt. Yeah, you're curt and short with people when you're in Babs mode.
Yeah, Babs. Oh my gosh, I forgot we called it Babs. And that's so met Wanda, and Kaltain does not like that she has this power because she's quite like a gentle character. So having like this power that's basically like a murder spree ability.
Yeah.
But Wanda like got her out of her like shell a bit and was like, nope, like it's a sick power, come on. And then Kaltain joined. I also don't know if it's Sadaran or Sadarian. I used both last
Sadaran.
weekend.
I reckon Sadaran.
Sadaran, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I said Sadaran and then I got Sadarian and I was like, oh god, I don't know. So either or, we know where we're from.
Yeah.
Not even, maybe the wiki doesn't know. I don't know anymore. But then she joined the Sadaran army as an officer and was there until she and Wanda used to still exchange letters, and then she was there until basically the witch hunts like cranked up, not cracked up, not funny. And God, I should be recording this on more sleep, really.
Yeah, well, we don't like sleep on this podcast.
Should we just like preaching to the choir there, really?
Yeah.
Wanda's letters stopped basically, and Kaltain left the Sadaran army on a very unapproved extended leave in form of desertion to go find her, and that's where she found her at the Free Company, and that's how we set it. And last event, Kaltain also became Provost, which is like the judge, like moral compass of the Free Company. So basically, if anything goes wrong, I have to figure out like punishments. If anyone attacks someone in camp, I deal with it. I sort of need to know who's coming in and out of camp and like make sure, like if there's shenanigans afoot, I usually hear someone go, Kaltain, across the field. I'm like, oh,
it's so good.
What's happened now?
It's so good. I love the fact that you are Provost so much.
It's so, I honestly, like, I had a moment where I was like, what am I doing? Because like I used to teach, and I like proper go back into like Like the teacher mode of like, is someone dying? Nope, cool, then give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But no, I have loved my stint as I've loved my stint as Provost, which will be coming to an end next event.
It's been
for
a little
various
bit,
reasons that we'll get
a little
onto.
bit traumatic, but it was fine.
A little bit traumatic.
Yeah.
No, I've absolutely loved it. And at the time, last event, it was announced we're going back to Sidaris, and Kaltain was not super thrilled because that meant she was going to get in trouble.
Yeah, going to get in trouble with the very
and
army
that's where we
that you
picked up this
deserted.
event. Yeah, and she was just like, oh god, if only I was still anonymous and not as about 12 hours ago one of the officers of this company.
Honestly,
the timing was so like OC, I couldn't have asked for that better.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good,
so cinematic.
The writers immediately, like, Tom and Chris were immediately like, you've played yourself there.
Yeah.
Crap.
It's so good. It's so good. And like, for context, for anybody who doesn't know my character at Northern Kingdoms, I play a very aggressive and angry Kedweni medic. Because
our angel, our saviour.
Honestly, very much. The embroidery captain of the Free Company is our Mal, who's now been called
Not
Malpractice
a single person
Mal.
doesn't have your initials.
Honestly, they really owe her quite a lot of money on aesthetics, at least. But yeah, so very,
absolutely,
yeah, very angry Kedweni medic who, she basically has a not identical but similar story to Kaltain in the fact that she isn't a source, very boring. She doesn't really understand magic or anything about it, which is why she's fascinated by Kaltain and Babs, which is the name that she has for the horrible battle avatar that you hate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Alter ego.
It's so funny. And basically, Meredith, my character, grew up in a tiny village in the north part of Kedwen. And when the wars broke out in the company, her father said that he was leaving for the Kedweni army. So was like, yes, goodbye. And Meredith went to go and join up with him because she was very worried about him. Like, her whole thing is very much like family first, even though she doesn't really know emotionally how to express it. So I know it's horrible.
Oh, girl.
She joins the Kedweni army as a healer and battle medic, goes to the front lines to find her father, doesn't find him anywhere, doesn't see any records of him or him even existing within the military at all. So is like, interesting. Finds out through the grapevine that he hasn't actually joined the military at all, but is instead running for Horsen in Novigrad, which is like one of the biggest criminal like organizations in the Witcher universe. So similarly deserts the Kedweni army to go and run with Horsen because she wants to be with her father, because again, family first. Then decides that a criminal life isn't for her, rejoins the military, and then loses faith in the military and joins the Free Company. There's a lot that goes on with Mal.
I was just saying, many contains multitudes, our Mal.
Honestly, she really does. She's a very complicated and yet somehow very straightforward individual. But downtime. Shall we talk downtime?
Downtime. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So it's a really cool system with Northern Kingdoms. We talk about it lots with our episodes, but you have basically between events, you write you get 2 weeks and you write what your character does within those 2 weeks, whether or not it's I sat in a spa for 2 weeks and did very little, or you can do anything and everything from spray painting the walls of somebody's castle that some people have done in the past.
Which of these have you done, Millie?
No, I haven't done some devious Tusoni nobles potentially.
Right,
but,
fantastic.
Yeah. So it can be used for very good plot advancing, or it can be used for absolute shenanigans. I prefer the latter with mine. So what did you do for your downtime?
So I basically, I think, yeah. I just remembered what yours was, and I'm trying to keep a straight face. So my downtime was basically during during event 10, Wanda had helped Kaltain scry for the source of her powers, because like you can discover more about your power as you go along as a source. And it would have pooled, like I described with my blood, and it pooled in the western point of Sidaris. And so she was like, right, so I'm going home regardless then. So my downtime was I got Wanda to portal me in, and I said this like 5 times in my downtime, but very carefully, Cal went to the source of her power, and I had this really cool like vision while I was there. And I'm intrigued because a lot of symbolism going on, a lot of clues, and there was a general vibe after that of that I might be getting like more of a handle on my power. So I'm excited to explore that more.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and there was also a name which I wish I could remember or pronounce, but I'll text it to you later. It began with an A, and it was very mysterious sounding. So that's really cool. And then my second week was I wanted to visit my family home. And she hasn't been back to her family home. And God, the switching between first and third person.
I know, it's strange, isn't it?
It's so... we know who we mean. Go back to her family home, and she hadn't been there in years, and she'd like Britain a bit, but she also, because she sees her power as a bit of a, because she has to keep quite like, not emotionless, but quite measured, and like not massively like, you know, no massive spikes in emotion in case her power goes. She stays away from home. But going back and realizing they were gonna like potentially punish her for being a deserter, she went back to see if like her family were okay, and what Paige and I had forgotten was that Wanda's second week of downtime had been to like pop in on Kaltain's family unannounced.
Oh my God.
So my downtime was like, you're like covered in bug bites, you've been like staking out the woods, and Wanda's eating sandwiches with your mum. And I was like, which was fantastic. And Paige, part of Paige's downtime was, so I see like a horse missing, and I don't see my little brother, whose name is Nicholas.
Yeah.
And it was left there, and I was like, oh God, okay. And then Paige's downtime, she came into me just like right after time in, and was like, Nicholas has joined the army, and I was like, okay. And we'll get onto that when we start talking about Friday.
Oh my God.
But that was my downtime.
Yeah.
It was great.
Nice. I'm so glad that your family trauma.
Such a good fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. I decided to go and join the circus. Am I?
Yeah.
It's like
good.
2 complete opposite ends of the trauma scale. Because at the end of last event, there was a mime in the camp.
Oh my God. R.I.P.
Yeah. So, and that mime was viciously murdered on supposed order of Kaltain. Supposed. I know it wasn't.
That was Pangrat.
Yeah.
That was Pangrat. Did I then demand he got sent into a volcano? Yes, that was me. But that was his corpse.
Yeah. So do you know what Mel did? She intercepted the corpse.
No.
Well, only so I went to go and hunt the corpse down because Mal, the mime was a person, Mary. So the person probably had a family.
Are we sure?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. so I went to hunt down the corpse of the mime.
In a volcano.
Oh yeah, why not? I like warm weather. So I hunted down the corpse in order to return it to the circus and to its family, so that it could be buried respectfully. And
oh my God,
I know. So, and I also wanted to like apologize for how the mime was treated within the Free Company, because also building those relations with other groups and organisations.
Oh my God.
Dear listener, I wanted an army of mimes. I wanted an army of mimes. And I didn't get the army of mimes.
Oh God. Oh God.
But
Just
it was
that would have been like Civil War.
yeah, interesting. Speaking of, no, it was but it was good. It was fun, and I got so that was my first week, was going to the circus and meeting a few people,
Fantastic.
and hearing about their leader called Jester and things like that. And then the second week,
Hey.
I was rescuing nuns.
Oh yes, you were part of the nun rescue, weren't you?
Yes. So basically, again, towards the end, this is what I love about the downtime system so much, is it helps record what happens during the event, and then the events of downtime then influences plot on the next event. It's so good. But we effectively have two incredible players who played nuns, like the best characters of the Free Company.
And their kit is incredible.
So good. Battle Nun. Jess and her Battle Nun like kit is phenomenal. But they
just amazing.
So good. But they accidentally got left behind after our big battle last event. So our main which meant that we had two nuns in the hands of Nilfgaard. So we
Sister
as a group
Ties and Sister Tranquility gone.
honestly. Goodbye. So I was part of the group that went to go and rescue them. So we gathered intel, and I supplied medical herbs, and I was like, we bring our family home kind of thing. Again, really emphasizing the family first thing for my downtime. And so my downtime results came back. They were, poor Tom, bless him, was writing furiously for Menhirs and also helping run Menhir's fate, and then also writing downtime for Northern Kingdoms. So it's very like last minute delivery of downtime. So good. Like I do not wish that on anyone, like handwriting and like tailor making downtime results for every single player.
I don't know how he does it. It's just insane. Like
it's insane.
And the care, and like he like weaves like different peoples to get like it's absolutely insane. He's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Mad respect.
Yeah, so my downtime, basically I didn't get it until I got to site, which we'll talk about later, but it was basically you've got two encounters that your character wants to go on, and that was the results of my downtime.
Sick.
So should we talk about what we're here to talk about?
I didn't actually say what the result.
Did you?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to the result of mine.
Sure.
I got like, I see the king will be arriving Saturday night. You'll receive a reckoning.
Oh God.
And I was like, oh great. The word reckoning was used. I was like, oh good. Okay.
Yeah. As somebody who's used to reckonings in different systems, you'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about this.
Oh God.
So shall we talk about?
We knew.
Yeah. Let's talk about Friday. Dum dum da. Only half an hour into the recording.
It's fine. So, see, you invited potentially the wrong person because I will just yap.
That's fine. I like yapper. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so it immediately all kicked off. Yep, Wanda came, told Kaltain that her brother had joined the army. This did not go down well. Kaltain is immediately like, well, this is my fault. My baby brother has joined the military because I deserted, and now he's going to get himself killed. And like she doesn't know where he is. It's just like she's Kaltain's no good, very bad. Like the first 10 minutes, and honestly, it just kind of got worse all weekend.
Oh man!
And almost like straight away, like all these missions start going off. Like the mission to rescue Sister Tranquility. There was a mission that also, these are all going to be out of order because I was also doing a lot of general Provosty being called upon stuff, which was really cool, really fun.
Yeah.
But one of the main ones on Friday was being told that we'd rescued someone. I think you were involved in this, so I'll let you elaborate.
Oh no, I wasn't. I wasn't here until 8 o'clock, baby.
Oh, but it might have been just stuff.
I think I missed the first rescue. I was here for the nuns, but I missed the first big couple of.
Right. Okay. So that one of those first ones was everyone was like, oh, we found a they were like, Kaltain, like ran in. And I was like,
Oh, no.
yes. And they're like, we've rescued a prisoner. And I like turn round. And to my eyes, because I am yet not introduced, I see a fucking mime. And I was like, oh, fantastic, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Kaltain does not like mimes. I'm fairly neutral, you know. I'm not. I hate mimes. They freak me out. But these masks, by the way, are incredible.
Yeah.
And I think Faiz made Archie's new mask.
Yeah.
Because he just crafts everything.
Honestly, it's upsetting that the talents that man has, he has no right.
Honestly, just leave us skill.
Yeah, right.
Please. Like, God. Then he feeds us as well. He tried to get money from us, but we're broke. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get on to that. This character appears in like this robe. I'm immediately like, great, this is a problem to solve, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And then he speaks. And I'm like, He's like, my name's Jester. And I was like, oh, okay, not a mime.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically was there to act as like an information broker for us. And turns out his mimes are all under his employ. And I apologise profusely for the murder of his employee.
As damn well
last
you
event.
should.
As even though, you know, it wasn't me. I'm in charge of the justice of the camp. So I apologised. I may have omitted that I did fling his corpse into a volcano. And well, you know, asked a sorceress too. Tomato. And basically, he was paying you needed to pay him a crown, and he would basically just procure information. It was a really cool system, very fun through the weekend. And Kaltain basically gave him words of like, look, I gave an announcement to camp. I was like, look, mimes are off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. There were some, it's like, no killing mimes.
Yeah.
Kaltain basically was like, look, you're allowed here until you screw us over, and then we will come for you. So don't screw us over.
That's very fair.
And because it's just sort of anyone that comes into camp, like, not only just in general, but as Provost, I'm always just so suspicious after my accidental farmer murder last event, which if you listen to this podcast, you've heard about. Yeah. A bunch of the camp still call me Madame Murderer, so...
if the shoe
which
fits,
is very funny.
Kaltain.
It does fit. Look, if there's any character, you know what, fair. But yeah, and Archie, absolutely incredible. There's some more Jester content later on. I've got my notes here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started off like it was one of my favourite bits of the weekend. Actually, was like Kaltain and Jester's like slow like build of trust through the weekend, because Kaltain actually made use of his information procuring, and that was on the Saturday. So I'll get onto that, spoilers. But it got a bit desperate and she needed some urgent information.
Oh no.
And then Millie, this is what happened next, Millie.
Oh no.
John Natalis came in
and
told us all of our battle plans for the weekend, and I made really detailed notes.
Okay.
I made really, really detailed notes about all the battle plans in my little Provost book.
Oh,
which I
yeah.
keep in my bag, on my
At
belt.
all times. Yeah.
At all times. In fact, so much so detailed were these notes that I was quizzed on the numbers and actually told that they should be better. And I should have more memorised. So I added a couple more notes in just to be safe.
Oh, of course,
so
absolutely.
I knew exactly where all of our troops were at all times, and particularly which ones the Nilfgaardians did and didn't know about.
Yeah, because basically the whole premise of the event was that we were prepping for a large-scale assault on Nilfgaard, wasn't it?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that information's never going to come up again. But I just thought it was important to reinforce how good my notes were.
I think you're incredible. I'm so glad that you take such detailed notes.
in my little book, which
In
is
your
on me
little
at all times,
Exactly.
wherever I go.
No. Foreshadowing.
Pocket sized for your convenience.
So you get told about your battle plans.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good time. Then some, I won't say what they were originally. I get some more yelling, and people are like, Kaltain. I'm like, yes. I had to form a little bit of a queue system at one point, and it was really cool. I loved being Provost. It's so much fun. But like, it was a lot of quick prioritizing, a lot of delegation as well, which I really enjoyed. And these two women, I got told, there are two women in camp. They're either really shit spies or vampires. And I was like, right. And I look over, and it's two of our fantastic crew, Claire and Abigail, who are dressed like, to quote Paige, she was like, I knew they must have been vampires based off the like, they had a choker and a dark red lip. Come on.
Was it Claire? I thought it was Alex that was the vampire.
Oh, was it Alex? Sorry, I thought it was Claire.
No, I think it was Alex. I'm not sure.
No, my bad. It was, honestly, this whole bit was such a blur, because then suddenly I'm being told that they're trying to like leave, and I'm like, well, we can't do that. We can't let them leave. No. So I run to Wanda and to Dr. Portal, Hannah's Nick, fantastic as always. And I'm like, can you guys like put them to sleep, or put them in a bubble, or just stop them from leaving? And they were like, yeah, we can do that. And so like, they're running around trying to do this, and like, they're standing like trying to like mind control Abigail, who I think her name was Tammy, as this woman.
Amazing.
And she just turns and she goes, you really think that will work on me? And we all just go, and then because Wanda had done like a spell and seen that they're gathering information, but they're not Nilfgaardians, so we're like, oh god, okay. And then I can't remember which, it's Dave's Jean-Michel, isn't he?
Yeah.
And what's Callum's Dubois?
Jean-Paul?
Paul?
Because Jean-Michel and Jean... yeah, I think it's Jean-Paul.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Callum comes over with
one
of
the
stick,
Dubois.
like this tiny stick. One of the Dubois, the fabulous Dubois, who you know on this podcast, comes over like, should I stick Madame Murderer? And we were like, oh, yeah, do it. You know, we've got nothing else to lose. He's like stabbing it repeatedly with this stake. And this absolutely yes vampire just like takes it out of her chest and goes, like, again, do you think that would work?
Oh my
kind
God.
of thing. And we're all like, ah! And then the second, what we now know to be from the scream that happens, a Bruxa.
Oh
They
shit.
come over and scream, and they call like a time freeze, and we all have to freeze. It's like a paralysing scream, and they vanish. And that led to an encounter for the witches later on.
Oh
in the
my
weekend.
god, so good.
But we were just like, okay, like this is literally like, we've barely started, and we're like, right, so the vampires are back. Because Bruxa, are a type of vampire. They're really bad. They're not good. They're so hard. They're real bad.
Mucho bado.
Mucho bad. Hot in vampire form, terrifying when they like drop to like their monster form.
Yeah.
Like we had did you see the
I saw it. Yes, I saw it on the Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's mad.
Yeah.
And there was. Do you wanna? I've got more, but like I think chronologically, this is about.
I think this is about when I turn up, because while all of this amazing plot was going on, I was driving in the wrong direction.
I forgot about that. And I just drank.
Honestly, viewers,
Bless your heart,
dear listeners, I am not a wise woman. I am a very overworked woman. So when I was at work the morning of the event, I was like, oh, cool, I'll just triple check the site. Because the site where we were, beautiful site, lovely site. I was like, excellent.
Lovely.
It's a scout camp. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And I was like, I could have sworn it was south of Birmingham, but I'll just triple check. So I check. And I go, excellent. Yeah, Northern Kingdom's most recent event is event 12. Excellent. I'll click on that. Ooh, that campsite is north of Manchester. Thank God I checked, because I was going to go to completely the wrong campsite. So there I go. I'm leaving work. I was sort of managed
Off she goes.
Off I go in my car. Don't worry about it. Oh, what I thought was a 2-hour drive is actually going to be a 4-hour drive. But that's okay, because I've got my podcasts and I'm going to listen to Witcher music to get me in the mood. So there I go. Pootling up the motorway on Friday, get past Birmingham just before rush hour hits, have a lovely time. I go, oh, getting a bit tired. I'm just going to go and pull over and get a coffee. I wasn't going to get a coffee, so I'm glad I did.
God.
Because I get my coffee and I look at my phone, and luckily my really good friend Chris had sent me his live location as like a little, this is how close you are to site. Do you know where that site was, Mary? It was
Where was it, Millie? Tell me.
It was south of Birmingham, Mary.
Was it south of Birmingham, Millie?
South of Birmingham, Mary. So
south of Birmingham, because it was event 11, not 12.
Yeah, exactly, because the ticket sales for event 12 went live before event 11, which is very good. Yep. But it meant that I got confused because I didn't think.
God bless.
So I then drove 3 hours in the opposite direction, and the Birmingham rush hour that I was so proud to have missed, I then hit.
Oh, mate.
I was so mad,
I am still so impressed you only arrived at about 8:30. Like, that could have been so much. You've arrived later before.
Yeah. So I had to do a phone call to somebody, because I was like, I'm too autistic. I don't know how to regulate my emotions right now, and I just need somebody to tell me that it's going to be okay. But yeah, so I turned up at 8:30ish, and I got changed in the car park because I wanted to do a recce. The site, oh my God, it was beautiful. And
it was so nice.
And
there
they
was that
had
one hill which can get in the bin, but other than that.
Yeah.
There's always a hill that can get in the bin at Northern Kingdoms.
Yeah, I think it's a prerequisite, is you have to have a really steep hill in account. Yeah. But they had these really nice glamping pods.
It was so nice.
So nice. And you, me, Paige and Freya were all in one, which was lovely. Yeah. Cabin number 10. Ooh.
Ooh.
So
won't say what we called the cabin, but it was a great time.
It was a great time. So I go and I do a little bit of a recce. I arrive at the same time as my good friends May, Quartz and Eve. So they've got to unload their tent and stuff. So I go recce their place, have a lovely time. Go and see Ruth. I get my downtime delivered in my player pack, so I give that a read. And unfortunately, the 2 plot points that I would have been interested in, the 2 encounters I was talking about, one was they were both scheduled for time in, so I'd already missed them, or I'd missed one of them anyway. The nuns one was dependent on when Jess and Liv would arrive, and they were coming down from Scotland.
Yes, because they drive from Scotland,
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. I've probably missed the 2 bits of plot that I was going to get. That's okay. I'm just going to have a nice weekend and chill out. So unpacked, had a lovely time. And then I met Jester in camp, because I think you'd literally just rescued them.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just after the definitely not sexy vampires, but very good-looking vampire people were in camp. So I was talking to Jester, had a lovely time, challenged Jester to a thumb war, as Mal does.
Fantastic.
Win the thumb war against Jester. I think it's because...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they were wearing gloves. So I think
that... didn't they have gloves on?
Yeah. So I think that really helped me, because they couldn't get a firm grip on my thumb. And the prize for me winning, I demanded as a favour from the circus. So
ooh,
I did cash it in. Yeah, I thought it would be fun. So got that, and then suddenly a portal opens in the centre of our camp, and out of the portal pops Dubois, pops Etheldred, Elton Safety, Songbird, my in-character cousin Stout, and
Fantastic.
Draxos, I think his name is, Reese's character.
Yes.
So out they pop, as well as Nico and Dr. Portal, obviously. And they're all having a lovely time dying on the floor.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I love hearing. I'm glad because I missed this.
Yeah. So it was pretty big. They were basically all come in, and as in true Northern Kingdoms fashion, the medical roleplay and the medicals game is so good.
It's so cool.
It's so good. And anytime you see Chris Gallen standing over a group of your friends with a stopwatch out, you stop everything you're doing and you run.
With this bloody shit-eating grin.
Honestly. So
like you know you're in trouble.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So run over to see all of the Dubois and their little group. And I was like, what the hell has happened? And Songbird is holding this potion. And it says potion of greater healing on the bottle. So I like go, oh, excellent. And I smell it. And the ref comes over and goes, did you just smell that bottle? And I was like, oh, yeah, I did. And I just got you're high off your tits right now. And I was like, fuck.
Fantastic.
So then what happens next is Mal is then lying around on the floor, like rolling, tripping off her ass, trying to heal her friends.
Oh my God.
Because Chris is there with his stopwatch, because I think you get...
So his stopwatch still out.
Yeah, so I think it's like a 2-minute bleed out or 5-minute, depending on your character.
5-minute bleed out.
There we go.
I think most people have 5.
There we go. So I didn't know what his stopwatch was saying, but I was just there like, I have to heal them. So I was like trying to heal, but being like really useless. So I was just basically padding bandages on them, because then you can pause the bleed out because you're bandaging them. And luckily some mages come over. So is it Therese or Therese?
Ceresa.
Ceresa, there we go. So
yeah, Gemma, she's fantastic.
Honestly, like the best.
Absolutely iconic.
Yeah, the amount of sass emanating off that mage. I love it.
So cool.
And they also run book club. Like, so good.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, every event they do book club.
So good.
Which is brilliant.
But yeah, so I get healed by the mages, which is basically like, Mal, why the fuck did you smell that? You're useless, like yada yada. So I was having a lovely time. Get healed from that, and then I turn and I see Nico's in a bad way, so off I go and heal them, and then they all go, thank you, Mal, and off they pop. So
what happened?
I don't really know. I have heard rumours, but nothing that I would feel confident enough to record and publicise on the internet.
I've similarly heard rumours from crew end, but like I don't know if it. So
I don't know.
Let's maintain the mystery and ask.
Yeah, I'm imagining it has something to do with a potion bottle, but who knows? I don't really ask when it comes to the Dubois and what they get up to, because
honestly,
it never really makes any sense. Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing what's going on in the Dubois camp, because they're always either having the best time or the worst time. Like,
yeah.
it's either really chill and like people are like chilling on the grass and it's lovely and there's food and drink, or like there's pyro going off. Yeah. There's no in between.
There really isn't. But it was fun. And then after we did that little bit of healing, then comes the nun rescue mission. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, and again, I was like, yay, nuns! Like, because obviously Mal is just coming down off of a big trip. She's having a lovely time. And she hears that they're going to go rescue her best friends, the nuns. Again,
yes.
Got told on my downtime, this is something that you really want to do. Yep. I was like, excellent. I'm so going on this mission. I marched my way up to the group. I'm like, I'm coming on the mission. They're my friends. Not in that accent. That's not the accent I do.
That's not even vaguely Mal's accent. But you know what? No one else on this podcast knows that. So yes, it is.
Canonically, that is not what Mal sounds like. Damn you, Mary. So I go, I'm coming on this mission. They're my friends. I'm going. And everybody turns around and they go, no, Mal, no. And I was like, oh, that's not fair. And it's like, it's one of those weird things where you need to cap player numbers on a mission. Totally understand. Again, it means that smaller missions make good plot for everyone else. Really good. Very fun. It's just never fun when you go, I would really love to go on this mission. And as people go, no. But we live, we stand. It's fine. The good thing about Northern Kingdoms is that so much plot goes on in the camp itself that it doesn't matter if you don't go out.
No one's ever fully cut off, I suppose, because like the nun mission for me, I knew I had nothing to do with in my downtime, and like I knew other people were on it. Yeah. Like as a task. And yeah, it's always a tricky one because like if you obviously like OC as well, like that was your downtime, but like other players might not know that.
Yeah, exactly that.
And so it's a bit of a tricky one to like communicate and be like, no guys, like let me on, please.
Yeah. And there was a player portal cap because we had to go to Temeria, so there was a portaling involved, which means that you have to make sure the numbers are correct because mages can only put on a certain amount. Yeah, exactly. So we knew that we had to go in and we had to bring 2 extra people out, which meant they could only send 10 players. Dr. Portal and Wilhelm, I think is his character's name, are portaling. They're having a lovely time. And away go the mission for the nuns. And Mal is left with Dr. Portal and Wilhelm sulking, which is exactly how I play Mal, and I genuinely love doing it, especially when Scott's character, is it Sianak?
Sianak,
yeah. So Sianak is kind of like her. He pays her well to heal her, like to heal him exclusively, and I have a lovely time. And me and Scott have this really funny, like in character relationship where I just scream at him, and he screams back. Yep. And he's openly confessed to being like he loves saying no to Mal because he knows that she'll strop and like go off and sulk. So I'm so glad that we did that. But so there I am sulking by the entrance to the portal, and poor Dr. Portal and poor Wilhelm they have to maintain the portal this whole time because no mages have gone on the mission. So they don't know, or at least no mages that I know of went on the mission. I can't remember. So they don't know when to close the portal. So they're just holding it open. Yeah. Millie forgets this because Millie has had a very stressful Friday. So when Dr. Portal goes, I could really do with a chair. Millie gets up and Millie forgets that there's an active portal between her and the place where there are many chairs.
Oh, God.
So Meredith
so funny.
Walks through the portal.
Off she goes.
And honestly, I have never laughed so much because I'm about to go get a friendly thing for one of my best friends in the world. And he just goes, no, wait, the portal, stop. And I turn around and he goes, you put your hand up. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you've just walked through an active portal. You need to go to God. And I was like, no, Nick, I don't think you understand. I'm not going. And he was like, no, you've just done this. And if it was just me and Nick,
you're in trouble.
Honestly, if it was just me and Nick, I know he would have let me get away with it. But it's because Wilhelm was there, the bastard.
Yep.
So
it's so funny hearing that from what actually happened.
Oh my
because
God.
Because you go to God, you disappear, and I get, where's Kaltain? Where is she? And I'm like summoned. I am summoned. I am sat down. They were like, we've got a problem. And I was immediately like, what? What now? After the vampire, like I know this is my job, but it's a Friday. What else what? And they're like, Meredith went through the portal.
Honestly.
She went without permission. And I was like, huh? She did she's what? And so I'm like sat here like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I mean, this is a disciplinary matter. And so I chat to Wanda, and we're like, she's going to love whatever we give her. Like, what are we going to do? She's going to find it funny.
Yep.
She's going to be like, yeah, go on then. And so Wanda, Paige, and all her genius comes up with the ultimate punishment for Mal, which is putting her in a corner.
Honestly.
And not letting her speak to anyone. So I'm like ready to have to like tell off one of my like OC, IC, really good, but like, right,
Yep.
get in the corner. And then like someone runs up and is like, no, she went through accidentally. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
I'm so glad.
I'm also like, oh God, she might die. But I'm like, I just didn't want to add that to my to-do list for the evening.
And it was so funny because it was like, so I turn up at God, and obviously Ruth is there, as well as James, our good friend James Livertidge of Bastion Game Runner, wonderful human being. I talk about him plenty. And I go, so I just accidentally walked through a portal to go and get Dr. Portal a chair. And Ruth is just like, that's fucking hilarious. Let's go. And James is like, I get you a chair. Like, I've got a good in-character chair.
Is that where the chair came from?
That's where
that makes so much sense as to where the chair came from. Yeah. So, I didn't question it. I just assumed.
It was so funny. So then I get given this chair, and Ruth goes, the players are out there. Off you go. And I was like, shit. Because also, like, this is where the OC bleed started for me. Because Mal is a very highly strung character, which implies a lot of emotional backlash from a lot of people, because she's very angry. She also sulks a lot, and I understand that can be very either triggering or just uncomfortable for people, which is why I always have the safe word potato. where
Bless you.
where if Mal is too Mal, just walk away and I will leave it alone. But either way, so I was then struggling because I was like, I've just thrown a very obvious emotional response to being told that I couldn't go on an encounter, and then all of the players that leave because they get to go on the encounter are then going to see me turning up being like, hey, so I'm on this encounter now, and I was just there like,
and you thought they would
thought that I was gonna they thought that I was convinced that they were gonna be like, oh, Millie, she's just putting herself on encounters again. And I was
bless
like,
you.
I was there just emotionally fraught, and I turned up holding this chair, and I was like, it was an accident, I swear. And everybody just started laughing, and I was like, oh God, thank God. And I was like, I understand how this looks. I am not going to participate in the plot. I'm just going to sit at the back. I was even carrying a drink. Like, it was so obvious that I had no intention of going on this thing.
Funny.
So I was just there, honestly. So I got to go rescue the nuns.
Hey! Look,
Jesus.
all paths.
Honestly. And so,
bless you.
So that happens. We go rescue the nuns. They're basically they're in no danger at all because they're the nuns. And we find them,
and religious figures, and
exactly. We find them talking to certain people in a clearing, so we literally just lynch, like, we shank those people and bring the nuns back with us, and we have a lovely time. Luckily, there's another mage on the encounter, so we get the portal numbers up. Everybody's fine. We all go home, and Mal turns up with a really nice chair for Dr. Portal.
It was a really nice chair. It was like proper like fabric one, wasn't it?
It was
wondered
really
why.
Nice.
I honestly just assumed that the nuns had like brought it, because like that's the kind of thing they'd just have me like, yes, we have this chair, it's cursed, we'd like to sit in it, and I'd be like, no, I wouldn't, but thank you for bringing that.
Yeah. So the free company now owns a Temerian chair. But that was
fantastic.
Yeah. Did you? So, and then when I came back, a lot of the military like unit chats were going on, I think.
Yeah, that was we were doing more war table things.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually have a unit, even though like I tend to be like quite like an observer of the war table, just because one, it interests me, and two, as Provost, like I like knowing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Plus, like I said, I play a very military character, so it just makes sense. But it was done quite differently this time round. It was like a lot of like mini missions, and basically
Yeah.
there was no way you could do all of them. And it was a really cool way of doing things. I really enjoyed it, and it just meant over the weekend, we had the opportunity to really swing the tide of battle in our favour for what's going to be like this battle that happens like off screen, basically between the two events, to my knowledge. So yeah, it was really, really cool. And I think like war table wise, like we did, so we had the windmill fight, which we won. The bridge, which I'll cover, which was Saturday.
Yeah.
We had tons of like a lot of non-combat ones as well were going off, and I'm pretty sure like we had a bit of 100% success rate with all of them.
It was a really cool
put us in quite
system
good
as
stead.
well. Yeah, because it was
Yeah, it was
basically
really fun.
normally with NK stuff, it's you get downtime in between days as well, because people who own military units often then send orders out to their military units to fulfill certain missions and things like that. And normally it's like a pairing game where you get the military maneuvers, you get the missions, and you get the military units, and you kind of go, ooh, this military unit would work really well with this military unit, and they would both work well together for this one. And then you both go, you write your orders, you send it off. This time round, that it was like you say, you get your mini missions and like various different non-combat missions, and I think they still used the military units, didn't they?
Yeah, so everyone had to have some kind of. We also had the chance to buy some more military units, which was quite fun. So I think a few more were in play, and I think there was like a group of. So I think I could be completely wrong here, but I think like it might be Ceresa because it's her thing, but like we've got like a group of like diviners now.
Ooh,
so like
nice.
you can like I think and like there was a group of like talk to some like rebels and like get them on our side. So there was a lot of like we'll send this kind of more criminal, low-key, non-military group to go speak to the people rather than. So there was a lot of like basically tactical thinking of like whose units are gonna be best for like which thing, and particularly like if the whole goal is to get people to our side to basically make the war map more accessible. Or like this, like the windmill one was a combat one, but basically we found, I think it's someone used their, it might have been Vigo, RIP. Like, oh god, we'll get to that. But I think he used his military unit to like talk to people in the surrounding area. Who then were like, oh, we've spotted some people in this windmill, and then we went to the windmill on like a combat fight. And it basically, I think, to my knowledge, winning that meant that they didn't spot our secret skeletons arriving.
Yeah, it's such a cool dynamic.
So like it was really cool.
Yeah, because
very good fun.
It meant that the decisions that people made at the war table had very short-term consequences in the fact that you then influenced the plot and the encounters that came to the player base over the weekend. And then the results of those encounters, because they had a direct result not only with the player base, but also with the war table things, in the fact that, you know, you got certain outcomes from certain things, whether it's the skeletons not being discovered or it's like a new diplomacy meeting or, you know, things like that. And it's so cool because it's like we said earlier, each character then has a real-time effect on the wider story of the game and an effect on the world around them. It's so good. Like the care that the game team put in their players and in the experience of being a player, so good. It's
honestly,
so good.
Genuinely, like, I don't know how they do it.
No.
Like, it's mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of Friday was that as we were like figuring out the new system because we haven't done that before, but it was really good. Would love to do that again. It was great.
Yeah, I really want to. I always get quite intimidated OC at those kind of meetings in the real world because you kind of go, I have no tactical advantage or knowledge on the lore of The Witcher. However, I do have a military background and I understand military maneuvers and the history and like actual like OC stuff. but then like I don't know what it is. I think it's like a block with my brain and things, but I just kind of go, no, and then just don't talk. So I find it fascinating to listen in on these things, and I really want to gain the confidence to do it more next event. But also Mal, because oh no, carry on.
Oh no, I think you should. I think it's so something that because similarly I get quite intimidated when I like, because it's the thing of like, you know, when like if you're writing a character that's like 10 times smarter than you, you're like, wait, how do I write this?
Yeah.
Me playing a military officer, I'm like, I need to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And like I stand over the war table sometimes, I'm like, I play Fire Emblem, like I've played enough like that's basically
yeah.
So like, I like, not just because of that, like I have a very I have common sense, but that's not the same as like military tactical. Like I know certain things, but I don't necessarily have the confidence to at a war table play this military officer that I am. But similarly, I would love eventually to let's get a unit. Let's get a unit so we'll share it. Like this is the mime squad.
Yeah. I do I love it. It's such a cool system. I really cannot wait to see where it goes. And it's just fun being like, you also get to tailor make the player experience of the event with the amount of encounters. It's so good. It's so clever.
You definitely should give it a go though. Like, why not?
Yeah. I mean,
we had some new players on it this event. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, maybe again, similarly, how you've written Kaltain being a military officer, I've unfortunately made Mal into a bit of a not interested in military, just wants to stab people kind of character. So I need to. I think maybe she's going to therapy this event, and then we'll see.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, so war table happens.
War table happens.
I'm sitting back having a lovely time. And did you have much interaction with the witches this evening on the Friday?
Is this when we got a visitor?
Yeah.
From the witch. So
yeah.
Again, so just one of the loveliest people you ever meet.
I love him.
Fi's absolutely amazing. Fi's is fantastic. And he walks into camp, and I'm like, oh, who's he? Because he's always like an interesting NPC, and like, it's like, I'm like, this is a witcher surely, and he's like, have you seen like the other witchers? And I'm going to like greet him and like be like, oh, I think they're over there, and he just turns and goes, and I was like, oh, okay. Who is this? And that's all I had to do with the witches. And I was like, bye.
I love them so much.
So what happened to your end for the witches?
Well, so I think it was Fize's character that did this, but I could be face blind. But basically, it was starting to get dark, and I hear a commotion up at the top end of camp where there's sort of minimal people. And I was like, what on earth is going on there? That sounds like shouting. Shouting often leads to stabbing. Stabbing often needs a medic. It really does. Mal should probably be near the shouting. So, and also in Mal's head, she's training to be a witcher. Only
fantastic.
Honestly, it's only because of poor James Lamb. Poor James Lamb has put up with my bullshit for 4 events now.
Long suffering.
Honestly, so I go up to my best friends, the witches. And I go, what's going on here? And suddenly, I think, again, could not be Fize, don't know. But they suddenly start shouting, and they are going and talking. They're like hellfire and brimstone. They are like screaming about fire. And suddenly there's a massive fireball at the top of camp. And the fireball, I think, explodes. And Mal, and then I get pushed like 10 feet back. And I get
Dean's thing.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Dean, his character Javaris. Had to fight there was like a fire demon.
Right. So maybe because Fives was playing a witcher who was helping Javaris. So who knows? Again, we could be butchering the plot line entirely.
A character called Isbeth.
Sure.
Ismith, I think. Y-S-A. Wait, no, I can't spell. I'm an editor, right? I'm stopping. That's enough.
Either way, there was shenanigans afoot at the top of camp, dear listener, and it all went down. There was shouting, there was fire, there was pain, and Mal ended up with a handful of trauma cards, care of one of the many refs, and there was chaos everywhere. And when you get given the trauma cards at Northern Kingdoms, they're terrifying. But they're really useful because they've got two sides. They're lammies, so like the potions at Empire, you tear off a bit. If you're a medic, you tear off a bit, you open it, gives you a lot more information. On the front of the card, it has a really helpful categorization to be like head injury, trauma, internal organ trauma, and things like that. So when you as a player get given these cards, you can go, cool, head injury, this one, that one, excellent. Because often you don't have time to read the RP effects on the back of the card because it's so
usually
instant.
They're bleeding out by then, and it's yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just there like writhing around on the ground, and I look at my trauma card and it says head injury, and I think it says that I feel dizzy, I feel sick, but I'm relatively okay. Like it's okay. So I'm standing up and I'm just sort of like wandering over back to our sort of main player hub, and I collapse on one of the chairs in front of Nico. And Nico's favourite healer, which breaks Mal's heart when Nico says this, by the way, is someone called Stoic.
Oh. Look, Stoic saved Kaltain's life, my first event, like literally sewed my brain back in. So like, I don't know.
I love Stoic. Stoic and Mal.
He's so funny.
Together are like two very angry, like Mal's the anger. Stoic is just the enthusiasm. It's the medical roleplay that ensues is Mal gets held down on the table by one of the bear witches, who I love, and Stoic is basically open. I think it's open brain surgery and open chest surgery.
Oh my god!
With Mal, whilst she's screaming and going nuts because somebody else is being really rude to her. Like she doesn't take the taste of her own medicine very well. So Stoic's patching me up and I'm basically just screaming, and then I pass out from the blood loss. And so then Stoic slaps Mal awake and is like, for the love of God, Mal, do not fall asleep, and like slaps me in the face. And then I wake up. Fantastic. And then it's like, oh my God, your arm, it's not supposed to look like that, is it? And then yanks it to like put it back in place. And oh my God, I have never laughed so hard in my life. It was some of the best way. Oh, so good. So I'm getting healed. I'm having a lovely time screaming my head off whilst all the witches are trying to like calm me down and like be like, oh God, just stay still. And that was pretty much it until we had our visitor to the camp for me.
So yeah, my last thing for Friday was my visitor.
Yeah.
So I'm like taking 2 seconds. I think I'm like catching my breath, and someone runs over and they're like, "Oh, Kaltain, you've got a messenger." And I was like, "Okay." And like, because he walked in, he's like, "Where's Kaltain?" And the he, which I'm referring, is Chris. Chris, also known as Trauma Ref, Trauma Wind. And before this event, he had delighted in basically telling me how terrible everything was about to be for me.
Obviously.
And I made the mistake, and I stand by it, I'd do it again, of telling the writers, and I quote myself, just fuck me up.
Honestly. I remember you sending me a screenshot of that chat, and I was like, you've made a rod for your own back there, my love. Off you fuck.
So he tips up in camp Friday night, very late on. And he's like, "Oh, got a messenger, got a message for you. I was like, oh, sick, okay, hello, hey. And he's like, so this is me finding out I see that the king is coming. He's like, I'm a messenger of King Kaltain. He'll be here tomorrow at 10 o'clock and requests your presence specifically. And I was like, oh, goody. And he was like, oh, you know, you made waves, you know, when you deserted. And I was like, oh, God. He's like, yeah, you're kind of like notorious. And, you know, it's so good of your brother to have stepped up in your place. And I just went, what? And he's like, yeah, you know, he's on the front. He's a hero. He's a war hero. And he's telling all these like gleeful stories of her brother, like he's telling like how he like breaks enemy lines and like gets the fallen from behind enemy lines, and like he's always like, he's like, yeah, like he's so good on the field. They used to call him Cal after you, and then, you know, he earned his own name. And they're like, wow, like these siblings must be, you know, amazing. Like they're both like war heroes. Wow.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm in tears. Like, okay. And then, like OC, we're staring at each other. I'm like, Chris, no. And he just keeps going. And then I kind of go like, well, thank you so much for the update. And I walk away, actually.
Oh no.
And then like Chris goes off, and like the messenger's like, he's like, I'm gonna go keep spreading the stories of your brother around camp because people should know they've got such a hero fighting for them.
Oh no.
And like a couple minutes pass, and like I walk up and away and like take a deep breath, and I'm like, nah, hang on a second. And I like scuffle back over to Chris, and I'm like, Chris, can I talk to the wind? Which, you know, is the Northern King. I don't know if I'm assuming it's the same at other LARPs kind of thing of like, hey, like drop character a sec, I want to talk to a ref. He's like, yeah, go on. And I was like, I've never activated my power outside of battle, but I think finding out her brother is a frontlining like war hero, as you say, her baby brother. Might just be enough to do it. Like, what do you think? And he was like, oh, and he like radios Ruth in Gardens, like explains the situation. And there's a bit of quiet. And then he just goes, oh, if you guys want to stop laughing, then should I relay that? And Ruth, and like, apparently just went, apps, like, go for it.
Oh my God.
And so he was like, right, he was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, I'm a messenger of the king. And I was like, it would happen, like, absolutely, if you're happy to. He was like, absolutely. So we like go back down the hill and position ourselves like right where we were, but like it's right in view of like this big tavern structure we've got. And he's like, go on then. And I was like, yep, absolutely. And I was like, check in, cool. And like basically he's like keeps going with war stories, and I like activate Kaltain's source power and like just start stabbing him.
Oh no.
And like he's like screaming, and I'm like stabbing it, and I've got people like dragging me back, and be like, like one just like, Kaltain, stop it. And like Sienak's there, I think Declan was there, our friend Gareth, like everyone's there.
Yeah.
And like Sienak's like the only way I can describe, so the only way you can get Kaltain out of this trance is basically magically, or if combat ends.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of trying to talk her down or whatever, and I'm like, no, sorry. And I stabbed Sienak in the gut.
Oh God.
Which I don't think did you not, because you ran over to like help heal the messenger.
Yeah.
And then Wanda grabs me, and like they like take me back and like tie me to a chair.
Oh my God.
And, like, and I'm there like thrashing about like, let it go.
It was so good.
And they eventually like put me down. It was such good fun. I forgot just before all this, I'd been asked to be a maid of honor at Tulipin. Declan's wedding, that was great. We'll come on to that. So like it was an evening of a lot. But yeah, I'm tied to a chair. They're like Aiden's there. Like one of the other sorceries, fantastic. Kuba.
I love him.
Yeah, we calm her down, and everyone is like, okay, she stabbed the messenger of the king, who we're currently trying to make an alliance with, and she also just stabbed Sienak. Like, she's going to be absolutely distraught.
Yeah.
And I was as such. But meanwhile, while this is happening, Millie, what were you doing as Mal?
So, right, I've just got healed myself. I'm having a lovely time. At this point, I was having a nice little debrief. Gameplay was pretty much over for me. I was like, excellent, I'll have a lovely evening. Turn around to watch said brutalizing of the King's Messenger. And I didn't know that it was the King's Messenger. I just thought it was some poor random person.
Another one.
So off I go. I'm like, Kaltain, what the hell have you done? Like, and then don't even see you stabbing Sianak, which does explain a lot because he was really angry with me for the rest of the event for the fact that I didn't heal him. So that makes sense. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. It will happen again.
so there I am. I've got myself and Dr. Lydia and
Dr. Lydia. Yep, she's fantastic, Georgia.
Yeah, and
Valis?
Yes. So they're also on standby, but I'm like, don't worry, guys, I've got this. Because OC, I kind of clocked that it was Chris, and I was like,
brilliant.
Oh fuck, like, oh no. So in my head, I was like, this is probably the messenger of the king. If Mal heals them, she'll get a favour from the king of Sedaris. This will be excellent. Mm-hmm. So there I am, healing the messenger, doing my best, like giving them the royal maltreatment. And Chris is just there mumbling to himself, and I sort of slow my healing, and I go, what did you just say? And he goes, she's a psychopathic bitch. And I was like, who were you talking about? And at this point, Lydia clocks it and is like, Mal, you're a healer. And I was like, I'm just asking a question. Who's the psychopathic bitch? And he just goes, that provost of yours, Kaltain, is a psychopathic fucking bitch. And I was just there like, now Meredith of Kedwen, notorious angry medic, would take this in two separate ways. And it actually led to some really cute RP between the two of us later on, actually. I forgot about that bit. But so Mal stops healing and starts digging around in the chest cavity of the King's Messenger and ripping out his intestines as a sign of revenge because he's just insulted her best friend. So
cute.
So exactly, right? So then Mal gets taken off the healing for obvious reasons. And is and
for the unhealing she is doing.
Exactly. And she goes and storms off, completely forgetting, oh shit, she's just stabbed and brutalized a messenger of the king who has the starts of her initials in his chest because she started healing him. And she's left him what appeared to be alive because the other healers are actually doing their job. So yeah, that's what happened. And what happened after that, Cal?
Names might have been passed on to the king as to which healer started healing and did not only did not heal, but undid the healing she had done.
Yeah.
But it was bloody fantastic.
It was so good.
In terms of like it was so cute.
It was, yeah. And
like
it actually
a real bonding moment.
Yeah. And I remember, because obviously you'd just woken up from being Babs, so you kind of blacked out a little bit. Got told that all of this shit had gone down and that your friend had also done this and that names potentially were now heading towards the King of Sedaris for such wonderful hospitality, and was like, Mal, what the fuck have you done? And I was like, right, now imagine you've got a really good friend, and I don't know why Mal's suddenly Scottish, and I was like, imagine you've got a really good friend, and that friend is somebody who's helped you understand what a family is and helped you find your family in the Free Company, and then that friend turns out to be a deserter, and you don't understand how to process that because you've never really understood desertion, but you know that it's bad. So then you don't trust your friend, but then your friend is still your friend and is suddenly the leader of the Free Company in your eyes. So she's then your best friend, but then also a deserter. So you're trying to deal with that. And then, but then But then she's just trying to do her job. So you accept the fact that your friend is complicated like you, and that nobody really understands it like you, and it's all totally fine. And then your best friend gets insulted by a stranger who you don't know for a king that you've never known existed until just now. And then that person is hurt, so you try and heal them, but then they insult your best friend.
It was so sweet.
And I'd started OC crying at this point, and it was weird because I was like, this is genuinely how, like, this, like, Mal is very complicated, but she's also like, she's like the little lost child in I think the easiest way to tell you kind of what she's like is like anger in Inside Out. She doesn't know how to process anything, so she just reacts loudly because she's a child of war, so that's what she gets. And she's trying to understand, and she can't do it because she's never had that kind of like adult like education or anything. So I'm just there crying, and I was like, I just don't understand what I've been doing wrong, but I just know that it's wrong. And it's this really cute moment between the two of us, and I loved it.
So lovely.
Yeah,
it was great. I honestly, and arguably the better of the two reactions, because I've just remembered. So we've sort of played as like a little three of like Wanda, Cal and Mal, and I completely forgot that that's actually how my Friday started, was me telling Wanda I deserted for her.
Woof.
Basically she didn't know, and Paige ran over, I've realised you went here, to aid in one of the sources, went, can I borrow that, took an axe and decked me in the back of the skull.
Fuck.
Which I completely forgot to tell you.
What the
hell? I went on the
hell?
ground, and like everyone's like, whoa, and Pangrat's there, like the leader of the Three Company, like, whoa, if there's a problem like this, you go to the carry on.
Yeah, man.
So arguably, Mal's reaction better.
Yeah, but it's like
and more supportive, really.
I love Paige. I think next event,
she's fantastic.
If Mel comes, we'll talk about this later, but if whatever I do next event, I really want to go into this more, because like the little trio that we started to develop, but then you guys got important, and I was like, I'm just
accidentally.
Yeah. So you guys got like
if Mal comes back and if Cal's alive, because again we'll get to this.
Oh my god, honestly,
we'll deep dive.
Yeah,
we're still on Friday.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's pretty much all that happened on my Friday. That was what ended for me.
It was such a lovely moment.
Yeah, it was lovely. And then basically we then decompressed for the rest of the evening, where I was playing cards, listening to my friends sing songs, and just having an amazing time away from technology and not worrying about the real world. And that was it, because timeout is 1 o'clock in the morning for Northern Kingdom.
Timeout's
yeah.
Because
I went
like it's time-ish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like really from after midnight.
But I went and just chilled. I went to bed in a really nice, cozy little cabin with a really comfy bed.
They're all right, yeah.
Although I did realise, as I drunkenly stumbled in, getting into a top bunk when you're drunk.
Freya did the same.
I honestly
apparently just like not even drunk. She just was just like, no, this is the ladders were quite well spaced, as well. Like they were quite wide ladders.
Yeah, it was a difficult thing to navigate.
Bottom bunk.
Yeah, but I love top bunk. It makes me so happy. It's a good overview, but either way, it was comfy. I had a lovely Friday, and I think at an hour and a half we shall leave it there and go to the Saturday episode. So thank you so much to everybody for listening, and thank you, Mary, for coming on. Can't wait to hear about everything else after this. I'm honestly so excited for tomorrow.
The shenanigans,
the drama. But also a massive thank you to our wonderful, wonderful Patreons. Running a podcast is expensive. We talked about it briefly on one of our Patreons streams, just about how expensive running a podcast is. So anything that is given to us goes straight back into delivering what we like to think is quality content. to you guys at home. And so thank you so much this week to Annabelle, who is one of our sponsors all the way over from Australia. So thank you so much, Annabelle. You're incredible and wonderful. Come back to join us for the Free Company next week, shall we? Goodbye.
Yeah.